So which AI artificial intelligence cryptos are actually artificial intelligence companies with either products and solutions or maybe AI infrastructure versus those that just wanted to put themselves in the category to try to take advantage of the market? Welcome to Crypto for the Rest of Us. I'm Brian. 6 days a week, I was about to say 3, 6 days a week, excluding Sunday, I have a tip, tool, or coin analysis. It's July 17th. This is the second of probably 2 weeks worth of videos on every day a different AI crypto, either those with a large market cap or those that are being talked a lot about in the market, because there are hundreds of them. Because here's why. If you look at coin market cap, I explained this the other day, but you'll see obvious all the categories. There are many categories. If you've looked, there's, I don't know, maybe 100, let's say. But at the top here are the hottest categories. So you go into AI and you figure, all right, if you're a crypto, you want to take advantage of this bull run, you want to get on this AI list because this might be one of the hottest narratives. I believe it will be, not just this bull run, but for the next who knows how many years. And there's so many of them. Now, of course, they list them by market cap. And just to always say, market cap is total coins circulating, not total coins, times the current price. If you want to look at fully diluted, that would be all of the coins times the price. All right. So today we're going to focus, and if you scroll down the list here, on io.net, that's what we're going to dig into. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. It's listed here as number 193 of all coins, 257 million market cap. That always depends on how many circulating coins. All right, we dive in. Let's get started. I'm going to go over the same things I go over every time as quickly as I can, but most importantly, we're going to get to what exactly do they do? Should they or should they not be in the AI space? And if they should be in the AI space, well, what are they providing? Okay, so we're going to look at the crypto itself, the company, founders, management, pricing, if we can find it, like revenue, that sort of thing. We'll talk about the token itself, the market cap, the tokenomics around that, meaning what's being unlocked and when. Then we'll look at exactly what do they do in the AI space, and then projections on pricing. Okay. CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, whatever you prefer. Note here that it just launched, and I think it was June 11th of 2024. Literally a month ago. Peaked out around $6 and something. Now it's $2 and something. I always have to say, do not do what I do. I'm just a big dumb animal. This is not financial advice. However, I like to be transparent. And yes, I bought some the other day. And I bought some for this very reason that I'll explain later. Max supply 800 million. Currently circulating is only 85 million. So a small percentage. I'm a believer that in a perfect market with perfect information, people are paying attention to the fully diluted. Now, some of them have max supplies that are hard. Some of them do not. Some increase, that sort of thing. But we're going to talk about the tokenomics, who owns it, how do they release it in a bit. But I'm looking at the $2.1 billion market cap when I'm thinking about my investment. All right, let's dig in to the website itself and just quickly look at what they are. Here we go. The Internet of GPUs is finally here. Graphics processing units. Now, there are different types of GPUs. The power of global GPU resources with a single click. Decentralized clusters deploy on a decentralized physical infrastructure network. Okay, in a nutshell, without going into all of this stuff, what are they? They are decentralized GPUs and CPUs as well. So if you have resources, you have GPUs that are being unused, you can join this network. Maybe you use them part of the time or you don't, or maybe you just have a lot of them and you like to farm them out. You join their network and then people who need them are able to utilize them. Makes perfect sense. We've gone over this a million times. If you're familiar with the render network, they're rendering high graphical like video and whatnot. Their parent company created a piece of software, which is, I would call it a solution. And then they created the render network so that once you've finished your project and you want to go ahead and create that final rendering, you can either buy a whole bunch of these NVIDIA GPUs, if you can get their hands on them, and have your own infrastructure, which can be very costly, or you can just go out to the network of people like that io.net and the render network have put together. We'll talk about the differences between them. And then you can use their resources, and it's a pay-per-use model. Everyone's familiar with this now because of cloud computing, CDNs, etc. Makes perfect sense. So io.net is not providing I would say at the moment, from what I've seen, they're not providing an AI piece of software. You're not talking to a bot. It's not going out and doing things for you. They're not providing that front-end software or solution. They're providing that back-end power for machine learning and natural language processing, two things that in the AI space take up a lot of power. Okay, now what have they done? They'll show you here better, faster, and cheaper. And they highlighted cheaper, very smart. I like their presentation. On-demand GPU access, and they're talking about the RTX. I think it shows here the 3090. Okay, let's just talk briefly about GPUs and why you would say, well, if the render network is so popular and doing so well, and it's top on this AI list of, in the top AI, what is it here, number 3, why in the world would I go all the way down here and even be interested in an IO.net? Well, because the render network deals with more enterprise type GPUs. It's in the line of NVIDIA GPUs, which are the A100, and now they're like what, on the H100 or something. Those are enterprise level GPUs. So they're fast. They're going to be able to take care of a lot of data. And then you've got another type of GPUs, which are these 3090, 4090 line. And they're not considered to be more of the enterprise. They can take on a lot, but they're looked at as more reasonably priced, but maybe it's not quite as fast. So if I were to make a graphic, and here's my terrible graphic of a triangle, and up at the top of the triangle are a few companies that need unbelievable amounts of machine language, natural language, whatever, machine learning, natural language processing. And they need all of it, and they need it to be fast, they need it now, they need it available. They might go to someone like a Render or someone similar that has these H100s, this 100 level line of GPUs. But then if you go down the triangle, this is like business, whatever you, consumers, whatever it is, at the bottom of the triangle, you've got a lot more people, but they may not need as much power, and they're probably more price conscious. So that's where someone like IO.net comes in, because they have the 3090, 4090s. Oftentimes it's talked about like, think about colleges. Think about how many colleges are teaching with respect to AI and the power that they need, but they're going to be cost conscious, right? They're colleges and others. So you've got a large, I think, in my opinion, a huge amount of demand will be coming at the bottom of this pyramid, which may not need it quite as fast, but they're going to be looking at the pricing. Okay, so there you go. There's a terrible example of the difference between someone like a render network with the high-end NVIDIA and the IO network with the smaller-end NVIDIA. Okay, so first they talk about on-demand GPU access. That's me needing access to these GPUs to do my computations. Then the flip side of that coin, and they point out they have 100 times more GPUs than major competitors and global GPU access. That's impressive. Then the other side of the coin is put your GPU to work and accelerate your earnings. So you have GPUs maybe, and you join the network, people use it, and you get paid. Makes perfect sense. They're working on both sides of the spectrum. You can capitalize on your infrastructure. They show how to do that. I happen to like their documents page very much. Normally, this is not the way it looks, but it lays it out, I think, almost as good or better than their homepage, because they have their 3 products here. And this is where you can dig in and learn everything about their products. But the cloud, you can access decentralized GPU clusters. Great. Worker, put the power into your hands with our easy-to-use one-stop interface for all CPU and GPU. Note, they have CPU nodes, power as well, not just GPU. Explore, curious about how our network works, including metrics and rewards, etc. Okay, and they have ID and IG. All right, now let's look at, so that's the company itself, and I'll get a little more into how they've integrated with some other companies to expand this network, which is very smart. Partnerships are going to be huge. Why are partnerships going to be huge? Here's my opinion. Every time I've been through anything, and I had a company before the dot-com bubble, technology company, and what I saw and what I've seen every time we have markets take off and then markets come down and markets go up, what is the typical liquidity event for any type of company? It's not going public, right? It's being acquired or sold. And a lot of times we look at this list of AI companies, and there are so many of them. Well, they're not all going to survive, especially if you're talking about companies that are trying to sign up people to be on their network of GPUs or CPUs. Once you sign up to a network, you're probably not going to join another one unless there's a very good reason. First mover advantage, whoever gets the most is going to have the biggest, and the other ones that are going to try to do it are just going to fall by the wayside. Maybe they'll have some, and companies like IO.net, in my opinion, would go out and then acquire them. Very common, okay, as long as they're accretive. Accretive meaning they're not going to mess up their margins. They're going to be at or better than their margins. That doesn't matter. That's dealing with acquisitions. All right, so now we know what they're doing. Real quick, let's look at, and I think this is great. The team, the investors, the angel investors, the advisors, they have them all here. Some of these companies, I can't find anything about who invested or who started it. I got to dig and dig and dig to find someone. So the transparency here, whether it should or not, gives me a little more confidence. You can dig into the top people in terms of the CEO and the founders and the CTO, investors, Solana Ventures, and others, and there is a large list. And let me just say, if you're a web designer, come on. People like me are old. White text on a black background. No, just put black text on a white background. I can barely read this stuff. Angel investors. They've got into angel investors. This one is from, good grief, Old Man Glasses. Come on. Solana Labs, Aptos Labs. These are angel investors. So they put in their own money is what angel investors mean. I assume they did. And then they've got their advisors, advisory board members. Okay, that's great. That's a typical company, right? You've got your team. You make it public because you know they were impressive. They've got the background. They've got the experience. Investors, you have many of them, and they're listed. Amount of investors doesn't matter, but who they are does matter because they are working with Solana. You show angel investors and advisors. We'll get into tokenomics because some of this matters in the future. All right. If you want to dig into their white paper, you can as well. There's a link to it just from the Coin Market Cap on the side here. They got the white paper link. You can dig into how everything works. Let's get into, we talked about the crypto, the people, the pricing, the token, and the market cap. Let's look at real quick here. We'll go into the tokenomics. This is important. If you've seen my past videos, this will show you the token.unlocks.app, and you can go in. They happen to have io.net on here, and you can look at their tokens. They've got their total tokens, 570 million, unlocked 105, untracked 125. That's interesting. Now, what does that up to? It should add up to 800, which, as you see over here, is 800 max supply. Great. Looks like that's jiving. Upcoming event, next one, August 11th of 2024. What is it? They're going to release a cliff unlock for R&D and ecosystem. If you look down here, this is the best part. These are the allocations. This is important. It's showing you everything over time. And it says the emissions allocation will continue to unlock over 20 years from launch until it reaches 800 million tokens. That's impressive, long period of time. They have tokens, 128 million going to R&D and ecosystem. Great. But then they've got seed backers of 100 million. That's 1/8. Not sure I like that. Initial core contributors, 90 million. I'm guessing founders and those that built it. Early backers, they did a Series A sale, 81 million. Wow, so we've got almost 2/8 just went to people who put in money. That seems like a lot. The community and then the launch pool. But let's look. I like to turn everything off. Remember, this just launched in June. And let's look at the seed. Seed is before A. Should be. This is today. When will they unlock? The first time, it's going to be July of 2025. It's a year from now. What will unlock? 4 million tokens. At the current price, it's $11 million. Don't look at the dollars. Look at the tokens. That's 4 million of 800 million. Then a month later, 4 more million. A month later, 4 more million. Good grief. It just keeps going. So they're going to unlock every month. Tell you why that may or may not be bad. Then we look at the early backers. These are the A. They're going to unlock. Oh, guess what? July as well, 2025, August. So same sort of thing. You've got these two cliffs. Well, if you put them together, let's just look here. We've got 7 million, 7.5 million, it looks like. So those are going to unlock every month starting July of next year. Here's the way I look at it. Some people will say this is terrible because they're investors. They're hoping that by that time they've got their 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. They're going to sell. It's going to unlock and they're going to immediately sell, and that's going to hurt the price. Well, theoretically, we're all paying attention to the fact that there's 800 million, and therefore we know the total market capitalization, and that's what we're buying. So it doesn't matter that some of these tokens are unlocked because they're part of the 800 million. What will probably happen is when they unlock, if they do sell them, it will put, because it's a large amount of tokens hitting the market, a big sell order, it'll probably put downward pressure on the price, but usually for a very short period of time, maybe just a week. And then as that is getting bought up, then the price will go back to where it should be because it shouldn't really affect the overall price. That's the way I see it. However, if you were a trader, you might be watching these unlocks and you might be buying and selling around them. Doesn't matter, doesn't bother me for the long term. What does bother me is that 2/8 of their coins go to investors. Okay, whatever. They'll eventually be unlocked and go to the general public. Okay, now let's get into, we talked about their technology and the way that they're different than someone like a Render because they've got, let's just call it the lower end GPUs, more economically feasible, whatnot. But if you notice from their homepage, and this got me digging, they partnered with the Render network. So they're actually working with the Render network because the Render network wants to grow, I assume, that part of the AI spectrum, the more cost efficient ones. And therefore, instead of building it themselves, they partnered with IO.net. Another reason why I purchased them. Take a look at this article here. The demand for GPU has increased exponentially due to the rise of AI. GPU demand is surging by 10 times every 18 months. 10 times. So does that mean that we need every 18 months 10 times the number of current GPUs? It may. And model training costs are rising by 3,100% annually. Okay, so it's getting more and more expensive. If it's getting more and more expensive and you have a network of things that keep costs down, that would be valuable. So the Render network partnered with them. They've got sort of the lower end of the spectrum. They've got those 3090, 4090 GPUs and CPU power. But IO.net was smart. Check this out. They're working with Aether, and we'll talk about Aether later this week because they're also in the AI category because they have H100 GPUs. Now it says over 300. You might think 300 is a lot, but it says by the end of May, Aether and IO.net plan to deploy a total of 1,000 H100 GPUs. This number is 3 times the total number of H100 GPUs of all Web3 competitors, enabling the handling of more complex and demanding computational tasks. Both parties utilize a network of 640,000 GPUs and CPUs combined. So, smartly, they partnered with Render, and they've also partnered with Aether. Aether is another, I would call it AI infrastructure, because they've got high-end, and IO.net's got the smaller end. They partner together. Now they have everything. And then they partnered with Render that also has high end, but Render also has a solution from their parent company that is tied into these networks, which is just like immediate demand. Because when people are using that software and they click to Render, they can choose to go out to one of these networks. So this to me is brilliant. I see them, from what I've seen, I consider them to be one of the top AI infrastructure plays. Maybe not the top, but from what I've seen, I like them enough that I bought them, and I'm considering purchasing some Aether, if I'm pronouncing that right, ATH. All right, lastly, let's just take a look at the chart. Well, I should say, we talked about the company, we talked about the people involved, everything looks good. We looked at the tokens. Will that demand, the unlocks make a big deal on the price. Long-term, no. Short-term, a little bit. We looked at their structure, their business structure, and the fact that they're, looks like, dominating the smaller end of the spectrum for the machine learning and natural language processing part of the AI. So they're creating that infrastructure. And then smartly they said, before these others outpace us, let's partner with them so that they may not even look at this kind of area. And they're working with Render, which is number 2 on the market cap for AI. And they're working with Aether, which provides more. So they have rounded out their solution. This one excites me. Where is their chart? Not much to see here. I mean, my goodness, they started back in June of 2024. But if we were to, and so the current price is $270. They came out, they shot up around $6. So I think it'll 3x. Yeah, I think it'll 3x. Personally, I am in AI because I think, I'm just pulling this out of my you-know-what, 10x. I want all of my AI to 10x. Render, sorry, they're number 3 on this list. Whether or not they should, there are others. Fully diluted 3.5 million. Sorry, 3.5 billion. Interesting. The other one is 2.5 billion. I don't know how to value these things at the moment because I can't find any revenue information for IO.net. But if we're looking at the stats on how much computational power is needed 10 times every 18 months. All right, so in 18 months, should this company grow 10x? Well, yeah, maybe. If they're getting the lion's share or more, if they keep their current share and grow. So I would like to see, and this is why I bought it, I would like to see this be at this price, be a $27. Now, if you bought it at $5 or $6, $27 is going to be 4x. But if you get in now, which is where I purchased here last week, a little under $2.70, I would love to see this at $27. I don't think 10x is crazy. I think AI will, as a general market sector or industry within crypto, I think it will outperform the crypto market. If you believe the crypto market is going to get to 3 or 5 or trillion or more, and you're looking at 3x, 4x there, I don't think it's out of the ordinary to get this up to potentially 10x. So there you go. That's it for today. IO.net. I know that was long, but it was important to explain what they do, how they do. And yes, I believe they belong on that AI list. I just wish they would split up the AI, as I've said before, into solutions versus infrastructure, because this is infrastructure, but it's well-needed infrastructure. Thank you. Have a great day. Please do leave comments if you have them. Subscribe. I'm going to get to as many of these as I can. I've seen comments on people asking me to look at certain ones, and I will if I have time or we get them in. And let's make generational wealth together with crypto. Have a great day.